Morning, Bones.
Morning, Padre. What did you find out on the Epstein case
Oh,
this
man.
weekend?
Okay, so some really interesting stuff. And I know we've beat this Epstein saga to death, but so is the press and so are the politicians at this point. And so first let's talk about the three major things that have occurred recently in regard to the Epstein case. Uh, First of all, now there has been another document dump. Um, the House panel has finally released a trove of Epstein files. A lot of these files came from searches in the court documents, but they also came from his attorney. They were documents that were found during a search of his residence that hadn't been disclosed. Now, we know that there were thousands of pages of documents that have already come to light and that really shed no new information. Apparently, this new document dump uh, includes thousands of pages that they include the names of several high-profile individuals associated with this Epstein, such as former U.S. presidents and British royalty. These documents were part of a defamation case lawsuit against Ghislaine Maxwell, and the attorney released some of these. They redacted some, but now some of these documents are coming out, and they are apparently pretty informative. Uh,
Okay, yeah, I heard um, some rumors about some direct implications of the Clinton involvement. Where he was not just participating, but he was actually a part of the whole process.
right, an active member of the trafficking. I have heard
Yeah.
that as well, and I don't know if that's in these documents, but uh, now they're saying Ghislaine Maxwell, when she was interviewed, covered approximately 100 individuals connected to Epstein and answered all questions posed by officials. The outcome of it is unclear, but it could potentially reveal new details about Epstein's network. Uh, they indicate that the investigation into Epstein's activities and connections are ongoing, and authorities continue to seek accountability and transparency regarding his extensive network. So I think we're going to see more information, that with the House panel releasing a bunch of files, and this just happened this week. Uh, it is an ongoing investigation. That now I have seen multiple people now again, like we always do, dumping lists of names out onto social media, claiming to have the inside. Uh, until it's official again, I'm still not going to put too much stock in most of it. However, the other interesting development on top of these documents, which allegedly implicate a lot of former U.S. presidents and some pretty high powered people, uh, 10 of the victims came forward to be interviewed and actually held a press conference, which, what a fiasco that was. All 10 victims, I guess, they do want justice against these high powered people. All 10 victims have given information. All 10 victims also stated that they have no evidence or information on President Donald Trump, that they never saw him involved in anything or even saw him around when any of this stuff was going on, which of course then sparks the outrage from the left, and they've accused Trump of having planes fly over very low to disrupt the press conference so that they couldn't be heard. Uh, the other thing that came out, and I didn't see anything real recent on it, but Marjorie Green Taylor came out again with the bashing on President Trump, saying he's calling it a hoax. And she's very upset about that, saying that he has no sympathy toward the victims. Um,
What is the true definition of hoax?
so that's where I decided to look into it. I didn't see any new information. It may be out there, and I just haven't seen it, but I wasn't able to uncover. I know a while ago, President Trump had used the word hoax and said it was a hoax. The Epstein thing was a hoax. He may have said it recently, and they're going to throw that at him. But the true definition of a hoax is to use information maliciously and in a deceptive manner.
Or
Uh,
wouldn't that ring true with Epstein case?
so it sounds to me
No.
that hoax is exactly what is going on with the Epstein case and has been. Now, my understanding when I heard he called it a hoax, I was kind of upset too because I always believed a hoax meant that everything was false. I always believed that a hoax meant, you know what, it's you've been lied to. Well, when you talk about it in terms of the actual definition of the word, hoax being a malicious deception, twisted information used maliciously to deceive, then I would have to say that's exactly what is going on here. It doesn't
I think
discredit the fact that it occurred.
yeah, I think that's exactly what the president meant when he used the word hoax. Like you said, though, I haven't seen any recent data that would say that he actually said it recently. But he did say it a while back. I don't exactly know when, but I think that the word hoax is the proper word for what's going on with the Epstein case.
Yeah, by definition in the English language, because if you think about it, uh, the both sides are taking this case, presenting partial information, and using this to maliciously attack the other side. All of the facts, again, still haven't come out. We've heard rumor, but you've got the Republican side, if you want to go by definition of hoax, leaking information, saying that there are several Democratic former presidents involved in the Epstein case. We've heard names come out, no hard evidence. We've seen some circumstantial things that they're utilizing to point it all toward the Democrats. You've got the Democrats saying that there is information in there that's not being released because it defames President Trump, and the other side. Both sides have seen most of the information, maybe with the exception of these new document dumps and the new victims coming forward. The information is there. Both sides have seen it, but it's not being completely released or revealed to the public. They're utilizing it in a malicious manner to deceive the public and create division against the opposing parties.
Yeah, it kind of like you look at some religions, so the veil will be lifted, right?
Right. Yeah. Well, and I think
Yeah,
that's where it's
yeah.
going to have to come to. In the meantime, mud keeps being slung both ways.
That's
Um,
that's human. That's human nature, as far as arguments go, whether it be between two individuals, whether it be between two political parties, mudslinging thing happens, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I
Which,
call I call it I call it human nature. I've been involved in the mudslinging. I just like let them sling the mud and walk away, you know.
right, where I duck, it's,
Yeah, 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 but it's just crazy how things go politically.
well, it
And
is.
you know, with the hoax that's going on in there, I guess we'll find out what the actual truth is someday. I hope, anyway.
Well, I would hope we do. But the House Oversight Committee on Tuesday released more than 33,000 pages of files related to the Epstein case. Um, they include court documents, flight records, a video of Epstein's cell block from before his death that includes a minute of missing from earlier videos. I found that interesting.
Yeah,
They have
yeah,
recovered the missing minute, but I've seen posts where they claim to have the missing minute, and oh, just click on the video, but I cannot get that video to come up anywhere. But the missing minute has apparently come back. A
from his
lot of
jail
the
from his jail cell when he hung himself,
yeah, they're saying
allegedly.
that the video of his cell block from before his death that includes the minute of missing earlier video. Now, a lot of these documents were already public, but they've now got these new records, and the records appear to describe Epstein's travel with young women. Um, they're they're still trying to push to get more documents released and more of the information disclosed. However, again, as we've talked, an ongoing investigation. How much information can they put out at this point? They're trying to get the information out. Now, I think both sides are talking like they want the information out there. Yet we have judges blocking the releases of some information. Most of those judges were Obama appointed judges that are on the Democratic side that are blocking it. Um, and they're being accused now of, by the Republicans of making an effort to keep the files from being released. Now, the Democrats say that 97% of the Epstein docs were already public, but some flight records are new. They're saying 3% of the 33,000 pages are new. These are disclosures that have been coming out. The flight records are included in the House panel release, so we do have flight records. What I've heard on that is that there are accurate names of flight records. Now, flight records is a pretty broad term. I would like to know the flight records to the island. I'd like to be a little
Right.
more specific.
That's the question.
And
That's the question I have when you said the flight records. You know, what are actually are those flight records, and are they to and from the island? You know.
and the dates of those flight records. I have heard it in previously released documents. Trump's name was on flight records, but it was clear back in 1999 that he was on two flight records. So to tie his name with flight records, that's a hoax. It's a deception used maliciously.
It is. It is.
So I also heard rumor, and I'd like to see, first of all, where this came from. I really would, because now I've heard, and I actually saw the article with one of the, I can't remember if it was former FBI or CIA, claiming that back in 2005, Donald Trump is the one that initiated and was a confidential informant for the agencies, for the DOJ investigating this, and that he was turning over all the information on these high-powered people back in 2005 when the investigation began. That information is coming from somebody that was involved in that investigation. Now, I don't know if he was a confidential informant, why that information wouldn't have come out prior to this, or why President Trump wouldn't have stated through all this in his defense, I was a confidential informant during this investigation. I don't know whether that's something that's coming out now to protect any information that comes out that he may have been involved in. Oh, well, I was acting in official capacity. I don't know. And again, I can't, other than it being stated by someone out of, again, I don't remember if it was Department of Justice, if it was CIA, or if it was FBI, but they had come out making the statement that way. So then the missing minute in the Epstein video shows Epstein being escorted to make a call, is what they're saying. They did 11 hours of footage. The time code on the screen jumped forward a minute just before midnight. The newly released video is not missing the minute between 11:59 and 12 a.m. I'm trying to look right now. There was some new information just popped out. The new video also shows previously unreleased footage from hours earlier of Epstein being brought up the stairs of the G chair in detention center to make a phone call.
At midnight?
No, it says earlier in the evening.
Oh, okay.
The release includes additional 2 hours of video from the detention center from the night before Epstein was found in his cell. Let's see. So the new video it actually has a different screen font and appears more likely to be the raw output of the video. It was raw footage, but there was the presence of a cursor and an on-screen menu. Indicated it was likely a screen recording rather than an export directly from a DVR system. So this, again, is some pretty shady stuff. It shows there was some intentional tampering with this video for the missing minute. It shows there was definitely something going on. Now, they haven't released, I guess, what was on that video, or at least I haven't read anything that says what was on that video for that missing minute. But apparently that information is about to come out or be used in the investigation anyway.
Yeah, well, if it hasn't been, doctored to the point where the missing minute was spliced in by somebody.
Mm-hmm. Well, they say it looked like raw footage, but there was a menu and a cursor on there, which kind of shows somebody was in there tampering and getting ready to shut it down.
Right.
But again, now this video, let's go back to Hoax. Information used in a malicious manner to deceive.
And, Hoax covers both sides. I mean, the left saying what they're saying and the right saying what they're saying. The whole thing is a hoax if the information hasn't been proven. It could be malicious information on the people on the left side. It could be malicious information on people on the right side.
Right.
And everybody else in the middle, because this Epstein thing was global. There were people from other countries coming in there,
Oh, exactly. Exactly. So
the whole thing is a hoax, in my opinion, to this point.
Well, by definition, and again, I would have or was upset at any inference of it being a hoax prior to actually finding the definition of what a hoax is. In which case, the entire thing on both sides is a hoax. Doesn't mean it's
Exactly.
false. Doesn't mean things didn't happen. Doesn't
Right.
mean it's not a serious case. Doesn't mean the
Right.
victims don't deserve justice.
Right.
Doesn't point guilt at one party or another. It just means that all of this information is being used maliciously.
Yeah, and it reminds me of something my grandma, she was a smart woman, and I'm gonna bring her up again, but she used to say all the time when she was doing her investigation of the cousins maliciously doing things
Mm-hmm.
together, and she would look at us all and say, "What a tangled web we weave when first we practice to deceive."
Exactly.
Yet, yet here we are with the Epstein case.
And your grandmother was right. What a tangled web we weave when we first start to deceive. There is so much deception being thrown about without factual backing. Words are being twisted, facts are being twisted, facts are being withheld. Uh, we now have some victims coming forward. I think that's a good thing. It should shed some light on things. Um, we've got these new documents, and apparently the House committee, before releasing the documents, did interview several of the victims to make sure it was okay. And I think they did say some names were redacted in order to protect those victims, which I think is a smart move and the right move. Um, I trust that this is going to be investigated legitimately. Now, whether all the information's still there, whether it's still accurate, whether it's been doctored, again, we may never know. It's obvious that some of it has, the video for one. New documents coming out, maybe other people haven't seen and maybe they haven't been doctored. Maybe we'll get factual information out of it as long as the investigation is done legitimately, which is my hope and my belief is that we're trying to do a legitimate investigation here. In the meantime, you've got parties involved that are trying to really make it look like the investigation is being slanted, and that they're accusing the other sides of being deceptive and malicious.
A tangled web.
So there we have it, folks. Kind of an update and explaining a little bit. Uh, yeah, we don't have a closure on it yet. But I think the more that comes out and the more we look into it, the more we find that this is an ongoing investigation and we may not have it all very soon. Uh, Stay tuned. More on the Epstein saga to come, I'm sure.
Yeah, and if you're watching this, be sure and like and share the video, and look us up on the other platforms because we're there.
Absolutely.
Appreciate
Like and
appreciate you guys.
subscribe.
Yeah,
Subscribing costs you nothing. It just cues you into when we post new material. So from Padre
yep.
Havoc and Bones, continuing saga of Epstein.
Be positive, everybody.